3-year-old come behind us and wants to join our meeting. He'll probably just hide in my shoulder, but as my wife and I are trying to frantically redo our guest bedroom so that it can be both an office and somewhere for someone to sleep if we're ever allowed to have people at our houses again, I have them upstairs watching Dinky and Dirty on Amazon Prime. So if he does sneak down, just he'll probably run away from you. Kate wants nothing more in this world but for him to like her, and he just runs away from her. So I'm going to present my screen. So in here, there's a chat option. So if you have any questions or comments or anything that you need us to slow down on, look at again and everything like that, please let us know. Kate, anything else you got?
Nope, I'll keep up with the chat if you want to go ahead and start with the slides.
Okay, everybody can see my screen with the slides and everything like that. Kate, can you put in the chat the link to this slideshow?
Yeah.
Also, everyone, it's in the calendar invite. I added that in there. It just says slide deck. So you can have this and it will change with anything that we would change. So I don't know about all of you, but Connor's our only child, so trying to keep him on a schedule of everything was a challenge. So, you know, we call it learning in our house because they do a lesson daycare every day like that. So for us, you know, Kate and I have sent each other these funny things throughout the whole thing. So homeschooling day 3, they all graduated, #done. So I don't know if any of you are sharing that same, all right, now we're hitting the grind of, you know, all of those different things. So that's on our day 3. On our day 4, if you haven't seen this, we're big Pixar fans. So that's what it kind of looks like in our house right now. I was on the phone with Andy Warren last night, and I heard him chuckle as my son was trying to climb the hutch in our dining room. And as I'm yelling him, do not climb that, do not climb that. So that's where we are. And then as of today, you know, I need to practice social distancing from my refrigerator. You know, one of my good friends growing up, she put something on Facebook that either we grossly underestimated how much 4 people can eat, or we're going to be 20 to 30 pounds heavier when we come out of this. So for us, you know, Casey tells me stop going to the grocery store, but I keep going to the grocery store because I keep finding we're running out of food. So maybe that's just, I need to practice more social distancing from our refrigerator. Anyways, in all seriousness, as we look to pivot and transform from our brick and mortar schooling and everything we know of to how do we do online distance learning well, how do we do that with, you know, getting, you know, students be successful and all of those different things. We're lucky that we've had Canvas and implemented Canvas before this moment. I know there are some districts that are frantically trying to implement an LMS, or they're trying to, you know, crash course everybody in things that they haven't really gotten into yet. There's a couple of districts in our area that are transitioning into Canvas now, or Schoology, or It's Learning, and talking with some of them, you know, everything is 101s of how to do that and to get the kids on there and everything like that. But, you know, looking at anything with this, and these are no brainers, but, you know, keys to success is preparedness. You know, for me as a teacher, you know, you adjust every day as you can. You try to look out for what a week is. But then you can adjust if the class went well, if it didn't go well. And here you're looking at trying to get things out for your kids at a week at a time. So that preparedness, flexibility, as Kevin has said many times, and we'll say even more times after that, and our adaptability. And, you know, I love this photo, 1, because I'm the basketball coach, but 2, you know, it shows our kids' enthusiasm, and it reminds us that these are our guys, these are our people. And if nothing else, if we can find the enthusiasm that Mr. Staub has at the very top row, life will be very good. If you don't know Staubby, that's Staubby in a nutshell. So a couple of different things that we wanted to include as resources here for you. And this is something that you can both share with your students, which you'll see in another slide coming up here. But what will your week look like? And in looking at, we're talking with Kevin and what he has shared with everybody. We know that we've got the 3 different assignments throughout the week, but like helping ourselves as well as our students be able to see that organization. And this is actually a link in here that you can use, and it's a shared copy that you can have that gets into any of your standards that are addressed. And then I like this because it's succinct and organized for me, so I can see what the students should be completing and then what should be submitted. Because one of the things that we'll have to try to navigate through, and as we look at who has access, who doesn't have access, and everything like that, knowing and keeping an order of what's been submitted, whether it be through Canvas or they send a picture to you, email it to you, whatever your system is, or they send it in through snail mail, however that is, to be submitted for that day, so you can keep track of all of those different things. This is also something that you can share out with your students, that either you can put in some of these things, or that's an organizational matter they can have. Another thing that's looking at the week as a holistic, and I think that's a really good place to start, because again, I've planned with many of you, and you look at 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out as best you can, and that's what you're going to have to kind of do here week by week. But unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of what every day looks like, and then saying, okay, on Monday we didn't quite get through X, Y, and Z, so Tuesday we're going to adjust. You're going to kind of have to map that out and then adjust, sometimes case by case and accordingly. And then, what does a day or a lesson or an activity look like? This is something that, quite frankly, we stole from a resource that was shared out by the LIU. And it's called, Oreo Online Learning, which brings in objective, responsibility, expectation, and organization. And that link in your slide deck is in here as well. And, this is a planning, a lesson planning thing that you can think about, don't think about, use, don't use, adjust for what would work for you and your content area and everything like that. But in here, it gets into what your daily life would be. So before that, we're looking at our whole week, and whether that's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's however that's going to be for you and your students. And now here you're looking at each individual one, and this isn't necessarily for you to fill out each one, each moment, and everything like that, but it's more of a resource tool so that you can see and look at your pacing. And as of right now, what is it that I saw? We're going to be back April 14th. Kate, is that right?
Ish. Well, students.
But that's ever changing. 2 days ago, we heard April 6th for us, April 9th for students, now April 14th, based upon what the York County superintendents are looking at for. So this could be just for those 2 weeks, or it could be for longer. And, I know Kevin and Melissa and James and everyone will keep us updated. But this is something that you can use. And Kate, feel free to jump in with anything that I'm missing or going into too much or not.
Okay.
Any questions that we have or on either of those 2 resources? Again, this isn't necessarily going into Canvas quite yet, which we'll get into a little bit, but this looks more into, that organizational piece, because I think that can be overwhelming, especially when you're creating stuff on the fly here.
Andy, will that Oreo outline be shared with the parents, not the one we make, but that right there that you just popped up, so that the guardian knows kind of what's
so a
expected of
couple
them?
things with that. Yes. I don't know if Kevin's on here or not. I will share that with Kevin, that he can put out into a newsletter, but I also would encourage you to share this out with any communication you have with your teachers or with your parents. And that's one of the things I liked this graphic, because it brings in that guardian piece. But yes, I'll definitely have Kevin share that out, whatever avenue he goes into with all of that, and would encourage you it can't hurt for you to communicate
Okay.
that as well. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm not sure how many of you have any school age children, but I think that is an adjustment for all of us as well. And I think that's something that I was reminded yesterday by a colleague of, remembering to connect with parents for a variety of different reasons, but their adjustment of life. Any other questions we have so far? All right. So then we have in here also, how can you help your students remain organized? And Canvas is a great way to help with all of that. We have announcements in Canvas, and like I said, we'll get into that here momentarily. The announcement, and then if we create things through modules and everything like that, keeping that succinct order. But I know I'll speak for Kate and myself, like we are checklist people that will help us stay focused and organized with everything. And I think our kids can use some of that. So in here, I have 2 different templates. One you've already seen that I encouraged for weekly planning, the one on the right here. But the one on the left here, so this is just more of a checklist type module part, and I made up arbitrary dates. I made up assignment names, estimated time, stuff like that. But I don't think, and you feel free to click on the link. It should make a copy for you. Use, don't use, edit, make it your own, make it however it works for you. You could use this for your FID stuff, anything like that, and this could easily be embedded in Canvas, so that the kids have that to go back and reference. Some will use it. I think, like I know my basketball players use stuff like this. That they may use it, they might not, but I think it's a good way to help them keep organized, because their way of life is changing as well. Everybody's upended, and they're trying to manage all of that. If you talk to them, they're like, well, I'm enjoying the time off now, but they're going to quickly learn that life is gonna have to be a new regular for them. So this is an option that you can use, and then you could also give them something like this that's modified down to however it would work for you or your students. If there's any special ed teachers on here, this is something you all use anyways, you'll have, but you can adjust and change. I used a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and again, those are just arbitrary times, dates, and stuff like that. You could even put in here, office hours are going to be here and here, so that if they wanted to, if you wanted to say, I want you to at least check into one of the office hours, they can check into that and they know when that is, all in one thing docked. So given all of that, looking at a weekly outline, a daily outline, and different things you can use, some resources we can send out to parents, ways to keep your kids organized based upon your week-to-week stuff and everything like that. So like if you're gonna, if we ever get to a place where we're looking at more than just the 2 weeks and you want to give a monthly outline of what is going to be, that's great. You could do something like that with that module checklist sheet. A couple things in Canvas to think about, because I know we've been using it for a number of different years, and I know that each of us use it in different ways. Some of us use it completely. Everything we have goes in there. Our entire being is Canvas. I know for a couple of different departments, specifically the science department, that helped whenever there was some retirements and everything like that. So at least you could get a framework. There's some of us that just use it for announcements right now, or giving out files and everything like that. But one thing to really keep in mind is to keep it as simple for the students and what they see. So on the left here, I have just a sample one that I manipulated from a course of mine, so that you can see on the left here, anything that has the I with the dash in it is not going to be seen by the kids. And announcements, I think, are an essential part to everything with that. If you want to keep your syllabus in there, I know we all need to put our syllabus in. And then modules in Google Drive are the things that I think really direct the kids so they don't get lost. And you can be creating assignments discussions, pages, anything like that without those little links on the side being seen, and the kids will still have to go to that. I think in talking with kids over the years, one of the things that, and it's in any LMS, but in this specific one, they're like, sometimes I have to click on the assignment to find this to go to here. The modules will help keep that succinct. If you're already using modules and life is good, that's awesome. If you're like, you know what, I haven't really used modules a whole lot because how I use my day-to-day classroom is different, I would highly suggest using modules to organize and make that succinct for the kids. If you click on the actual picture and you're like, how do I hide things in that, it'll give you a tutorial. It's a simple 5-step process with screenshots as to how you can hide through navigation in your Canvas course. And as I was talking, you know, getting into modules and everything like that, the importance of modules. So again, I just quickly created a very quick fake look of what a week could look like in an online learning week. And I just named it that. It's generic. You could do yours by your themes, by your chapters, your age periods, all those, whatever works for you. I do think that giving an overview, we think that giving an overview is super important. If you are somebody that does not like to video yourself, you can just do it where you hide the camera and give some voice to what you're doing. If you can jump out of your comfort zone and do a short video, you can embed that right into Canvas. And I think that's important for the kids. We'll get into that a little bit later this afternoon with SEL if you're going to attend that one. But they miss you, and you all know that, but they miss you. They miss seeing you, the normalcy of life and everything like that. And so that overview, I think, is an important thing. So like for me, I put in, please watch first, so that if this was a group of students, they would be able to see, I should watch this first. And that's me going to be able to tell them that if you don't get done with Monday with social distancing assignment, make sure that gets done before you get to Wednesday, words after that. And then in here, I put in just different assignments you could do with that so that it stays organized. But I wouldn't suggest completely changing your way of life. So like I know some people do assignments where they have the Google Docs embed in there and everything gets uploaded that way. I know that in others, you turn in a link. Whatever you've done, do what you've done. If you haven't done anything with it, I think this is a time that you can teach the kids through that. And if we can help in any way with you on that, please let us know. But again, there should be a link in there for how to create modules. Any questions we have so far with that? I'm not going to go longer than 30 minutes. So I'm trying to be mindful of everyone's time. Okay, everybody good?
Yeah, so far.
Okay.
Hold on, I got a quick question.
Yep.
So I'm doing the closing the eyeball thing, and if I take it away, they can still access it through another way, right? It's just not on the side.
Yes. So you're back to here. Yeah. So if you took away assignments, for instance, yeah, they can still access it. When you hide it here, so when they would come in, they would just see these 4 things. So when you hide that, it takes away from, like when they go in and they're like, oh, Shiloh said in his announcement to do X, Y, and Z. I'll just go to the assignment, and then I can't find the assignment, and then they start emailing you saying I can't find the assignment. Modules will just keep that all succinct, and when you click on that, they still can access it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So a couple of other things that you can include if you haven't, gotten into a lot of it, and these are all things you can add through when you add things to your module. Obviously, announcements are something we've done for a long time. I think they're great openers because when the kids come in, they see that right in their dashboard. There's an announcement from Mr. Posner. Let me look at that. You can include pages. So pages is going to be much more of your content-based stuff. That's where the learning happens. And that's where you can put in a message for what you want them to do. Here's the entire assignment. Ready, go. and that's your whole day, or that's your whole week, or however you're going to do, especially if you're going to get into anything project-based and long-term. You've got assignments, quizzes, discussion. Discussion I know some of us haven't really gotten into because we use day-to-day stuff, but you can set it up so that there's moderators, that a student can't respond unless they can't see anybody else's unless they respond first. And each of these things here are clickable and linkable. Like if you click on that, it'll take you to a tutorial of how to create a page and all of those different things. And then you can put in external tools. So here's just a screenshot of some examples. If you use Khan Academy, you can just naturally embed Khan Academy within your module, or you can put it in a page or anything like that. So those are a couple of different things that Canvas has for options. Some little tidbits to consider. And sorry, this is text heavy, but I think it's important just to look at a couple of these things. Think about what needs to be synchronous and asynchronous. So most of learning is going to be asynchronous, unless you're going to have like live sessions and then catch up anybody that can't be there. But think about that, and think about anything that is going to need collaboration, all those different things. Consider chunking learning and creating playlists. So here's an article for nonlinear curriculum ideas. But like if you created a YouTube playlist, and they're 3 to 5 minute ones that the kids can watch over a period of time, I think that's a really good idea. At the bottom there, it's going to talk about, keeping videos to 3 to 5 minutes. I know that I'm a 33-year-old adult that when Kate sends me things that's over 6 minutes, I stop watching. And so I think that's, our kids are the same way. And always consider that assignments done at home are probably going to take twice as long as they would. So just keep that in mind as you're planning for hours, times, minutes, and all that different workload. Here is a chart, as we're going to near close to 5 minutes left. Here's a chart for face-to-face to online tool conversion. So if I click on that doc, it's going to take me to this chart that are a number of tools that we may or may not have used before, but again, we shamelessly stole this from a resource that the LIU put together. But here would be, something you would do face-to-face, so group discussions, things like that. And here would be a technology tool that you could consider. So Flipgrid would be an idea with something like that. And then it gives some different tips for consideration and stuff like that. I know that we pitched Actively Learn earlier on. So and Actively Learn has been opened up as free for this time frame. So, there's read and respond for different things you could do with that. Brings in student questions, videos, all of those different things. If you have any questions or you want to embed any of those things and you're not sure how to, that's something we can absolutely do. We're going to open up office hours coming up here for anybody that wants to jump in. We can be more of a round table. You come, you ask your question, you leave, and we say goodbye. More coming with that, but anytime you want to try to do something and you're not sure, reach out to us and we'll absolutely jump on a session or send you anything we can. This is our new world as well. And the last thing I have in here is an article through Edutopia that just brings in 4 tips for teachers shifting to online learning. It's a quick 2-minute read, and in here on the slide is the 4 major tips. And I think number one, the first one is something we all need to continue, and Kate and I have realized this as well. Like, the simplicity is key. Keep with what your kids know. Keep with what you know as best you can. I know you're gonna have to kind of jump out of your comfort zone in some aspects, but keep with what you know. Keep with what the kids know. And the last one, which is already kind of established in place, but those individual touch points are game changers. And I think the office hours will be helpful with that, but reaching out to your kids, which many of you have already done in a variety of different ways, will help that a lot. So with 4 minutes left, Kate, anything to add that I've missed? or that I skipped over or anything like that? Any questions we have, thoughts, comments?
No, I think we're good. I know that a few teachers asked about Actively Learn and like what the possibilities were with the freemium version. So if Tim is on this phone or on this call, he asked about seeing student submissions and seeing the summary of the entire class. All of that is available now in Actively Learn.
So there's a lot of different tools that opened up, like freemium versions that now are going to be there. Actively Learn is a really good one with that. Edpuzzle did, Nearpod, stuff like that. Okay, so I'll stop sharing. Well, it is 8:57, and you all have children and lives and things that you need to be doing. If you don't have any other questions, feel free to. We'll hang around. If anybody wants to wait till everybody goes off and you want to ask an individual question, reach out to us anytime. We'll be sharing on our website later today and this week that will have office hours, when other training sessions are, and everything like that. So please let us know, and we're here and happy to help any way we can.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, Andy, I have a question.
Yep.
We were talking about ways to contact parents without using our home or our personal cell phone. And I think that Kara Miller had suggested activating a Google Voice account, which I tried to do and am unable to do through my district Google account. So I emailed the help desk and they said that that's not a possibility right now. So
Yeah.
Is that going to be changed, or do I need to create a personal Gmail account so that I can do this?
So I think that, well, Kevin, you're going to see an email from Kevin that's forever long, but I can send that out to everyone. But you can do calling through Google Hangouts, and
Okay.
I tried it with Warren last night, so it's a little bit different than voice. I tried it with Warren last night and it worked. The downside to it is that when it comes up on the phone, it says what does that say? No caller ID. So like they may not answer, but that you don't need to use your personal number or anything like that. You can either use your browser, or you can download the app and do it that way. So we'll send that out. But that's what I would say. For the schools is like $20 a person.
Oh,
So that's where that one was. So in talking with Greg, he suggested Google the Hangout calling, and it did work. Like I said, I talked to Warren for like a good 5 minutes, and nothing was any different than what I normally would.
Andy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Isn't there like a star something you can put in front of the number when you call and it will hide your number? They had me use that when I worked at the middle school. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Where that is, I haven't done that in such a long time.
Yeah, there's a number you can enter and it'll just hide your number from them. And then I'd leave messages that it was me calling and I'd call back again in 5 minutes and then they'd answer since they knew it was me. So that worked pretty well as well.
Okay.
I can probably Google it or something and figure out
Can you
what the
hear me?
numbers were.
It's Kara. It's star 67.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thanks, Kara.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
And,
pretty simple from my phone.
As far as Google Voice goes, I do it through my personal Gmail account. So it just sets it. It's nice though because it's an app, and I can text parents from it, and I can also you can screen calls. It goes straight to my cell phone. But it gives you an actual physical phone number other than your phone number that you can call. Like, so I give them out that number. It's like a 717, whatever. You can choose your number and then you can give them that number and then they can call that number or whatnot if they need to get in touch with you, which is a nice feature.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and after after was that happened to me on Monday, I was messing around with it. And it is nice. Like it's like no different than what you would be.
Like
But-
with, yeah, it's like
It
having,
depends if you want to make your own account with that. But
right.
I agree with Kara. It is super nice.
Yeah.
Now I will say with the Hangouts calling, you can also download the Google Hangouts app.
Oh,
and
nice.
Call it from that. But the voice one's nice because you come with a number and not the no caller ID thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Okay, one more thing, Andy. Did you see the question about having a Google Hangout training? Are there any plans for that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have tutorials that we're working on, and then we can do a full session on Hangout.
Okay, what was that? I couldn't hear you.
We have tutorials planned
Okay,
that will be on
okay.
Friday, but we also could do a full session on Hangout if it's needed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Is it just us? No.
No.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So good to see you.
I know. Good to see you too. You look like you're all set up for instruction there.
I am. I teach students in China in the morning, so this is my virtual classroom.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
I told everybody when we first started because I always get like questions like, "What is happening?" This is my classroom.
Very cool.
All right, well, thank you both. I'm going to log off.
All
All
right.
right.
And thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah. So Kim wanted you to stay on the call, Andy. She logged in and was very excited about the whole thing and wants to do this with the principals at 3:30.
Okay.
So, but I guess something happened. Something's going on with iReady. People can't get in, and so
Oh boy.
yeah, I went and dealt with that.
You know what? We're just gonna shut down already.
Let me read her text to you. Okay, maybe not. I need to switch over to FES. I can text during the elementary. I can text that. The elementary is having issues getting into iReady, and Ready already had emails.
Okay. Well, that's a thing.
It's our test. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Mhm. Yeah, middle school apparently couldn't get in either. We'll see. So yeah. Good job.
Is that all right?
2 to go.
Huh?
Said 1 down, 2 to go.
Yeah. I mean, was that okay?
Yeah, it was very good. I think the people, I think there were a lot more people than I expected. I think that's a good sign. I think that as we go, people will get more comfortable with learning. Like I think